Minimum wage has been a hot topic among labor economists lately, especially with the Fight for 15 picking up steam nationally and globally. This movement is advocating for a $15 minimum wage for fast food employees, retail employees, home health aides, essentially people who are underpaid workers. Hailed as an effectiveness of direct action and a huge win for unions, this movement has helped many gain a living wage to feed their families and pay rent in increasingly expensive cities. Critics of this movement say that popular microeconomic theory dictates that, while in the short term, low income workers will benefit from an increased wage, in the long term, they will face mass unemployment because companies will cut costs by replacing them with machines. For example, if the price of labor for a cashier increases dramatically, corporations will replace them with self checkout kiosks like those in Kroger, CVS, and Walmart.
So this is the average competitive labor market. So we can see quantity marked here, that's where equilibrium wage is, and equilibrium quantity. So with the rise in a wage, or the implementation of a minimum wage, the rise of a minimum wage, that's going to create a shortage, as we can see here, where the demand is going down, it's like decreasing, and the supply is increasing because more people want to work for a higher wage, but firms don't want to hire as many people.
While you would think that this law, as microtheory dictates, is always relevant, it actually isn't. So this trend is not always accurate. In many states that have increased the minimum wage, they're experiencing an increase in employment too. In these situations, it's actually likely that that's due to the fact that the labor markets are not competitive. They're monopsonistic. Where a monopoly is a market of many buyers facing one seller, a monopsony is a market of one buyer facing many sellers. It can be applied to the labor market with the buyer being the firm, the sellers being the workers, and the price being the wage. Despite popular economic theory, a raise in the minimum wage would actually increase market efficiency.
Here we have a monopsony market. So like a monopoly, the monopsony is going to use the intersection of marginal cost and value of marginal product to set their wage. So the intersection of value of marginal product and marginal cost is here at A. You follow that line down to B, where it intersects with labor supply, and here's the initial wage. So once a minimum wage is implemented, you can see that they're now forced to pay this wage, but actually quantity is increasing. So here, they're actually getting rid of this deadweight loss triangle by now paying their workers this much.
If wages increased up until where supply and value of marginal product intersect, employment will increase along with the wage. This is really relevant for cities like Boston because the cost of living here is so high that a lot of people probably their reservation wages are not met by the current minimum wage. So raising the minimum wage is actually going to meet a lot of more people's reservation wages, and it's probably going to increase employment in monopsonistic environments such as retail and fast food.